Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Punting Green, brought to you by oddschecker and pricedup.bet. This is your Rocket Classic preview. This is the show every weekend. We preview the PGA Tour golf event. I'm your host, George Elek, and I'm delighted to be joined, as ever, by oddschecker's golf and racing tipster, Ginger Joe. Joe, how are you?
I am well, George. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm on holiday, so I'm taking 20 minutes out of my holiday with the in-laws to chat golf with you, having taken about 3 hours out of my holiday on Sunday night to watch Tommy Fleetwood somehow conspire not to win a PGA Tour event for the first time in his career.
I mean, where do we start with that? I mean, it is an unbelievable loss, and he's very well known for it now, unfortunately. I suppose the damaging part as well was not only did he lose this tournament, but he was beat by the US Ryder Cup captain, and we're only a couple of months away now until the big event. So, look, it doesn't get any easier like this, and it's different with the likes of Cam Young, who isn't throwing away tournaments. He's just not getting over the line. Whereas Tommy Fleetwood, for example, is throwing away tournaments. I suppose you can't necessarily blame last year's Canada Open on him when Nick Taylor made sort of like that 70-foot putt. But when he's losing these tournaments, he's coming back to the field. It's not like Keegan Bradley finished with a flourish of birdies, is it really? Oh, that's going to be a painful one for him, that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny because it felt like he basically hit the wrong club on the par 3 16th, hit over the flag, over the back of the green. And then he hit the wrong club on 18, where he put I think it was a 9-iron back in the bag and pulled the wedge out and then hit it a club short. It was just like, and then obviously a terrible 3-putt. But what's so strange about it is that he's someone who has won multiple times on the DP World Tour. He's someone who's been absolutely clutch in the Ryder Cup when the pressure's been on. There's just something now. It's 42 top 10s on the PGA Tour without winning. Like, there's a fair argument to say that he's the best ever PGA Tour player not to have won an event.
I'd say you're absolutely right. I think he's the highest world ranking player as well, not to win one. It's got to be a mental aspect for him. He probably hit the shot over the green with a bit of adrenaline, but rather than possibly acknowledging the fact that it was adrenaline, he seemed to think that he misclubbed and then thought he'd be able to get a wedge there on the next, and obviously then he came up short. But look, he didn't play well enough to close out a tournament at a low-scoring golf course, to be honest with you. He's got to find a way of getting over that. And the longer it goes on, it's not going to become any easier. I did joke about him when we were on this, when we were in the studio once about, I said he just needs to smile a little bit because he does look borderline at tears when the pressure sort of seems to come on. And there's got to be a mental aspect because he's far too good of a player not to be winning a PGA Tour event. It seems obscene, really, doesn't it? But perhaps he's going to do like a similar thing to Sergio Garcia and he'll just go and win a major, like at some point out of the blue. And then you'll think, okay, well, there we go. He's got his win now. It's a strange one, isn't it? But it's a crucial time in the season. We've got the Open coming up, the Ryder Cup. So it's going to be difficult for him now, George, to be honest. I feel sorry for anyone that backed him as well.
Oh, yeah, horrible. Right, let's get into this week's event. It is the Rocket Classic. A decent field showing up here to compete. This one, the Detroit Golf Club. What can you tell us about this course and the challenges that it poses?
Sure thing. Not very challenging, George. 7,370 yard, which may seem quite long, but it's a par 72, a very, very low scoring golf course. No Scheffler. We have no McIlroy, so we've got a good opportunity here for potentially a player to break their maiden. And we've got a bit more value as well. We don't have to start looking towards any without Scheffler markets, which is always a good thing. Players going to be hitting a lot of pitch and wedges to 8 irons, 7 irons around here. No emphasis off the tee again. Really, really wide landing spots here. You're looking at sort of nearly 40 yards wide, some of these fairways. But there's just a lot of easy holes. If you just have a quick scan, hole number 5 is a par 3, just 167 yards long. Loads of birdies are going to be made on that par 3, very similar to the 11th at the Travellers. Then 2 holes later, you've got a very reachable short par 5. You've got 3 par 4s under 400 yards. 14th is a really short par 5. The only hole with water on actually is the 14th. It is a par 5, but it's sort of short left of the green, so it shouldn't become too much of a worry because they're only going to be hitting a mid-iron in anyway. Again, you go to the 15th, 160-yard par 3. So off the tee, George, no worries. You want a good approach player and a good putter. Target Golf is going to win the event.
Great stuff. We'll have a look at the market now. We're priced up. We're paying a fifth for 6 places. If you haven't got a priced up account, make sure that you get one. We'll be talking about their markets and their prices here in our preview of the Rocket Classic. Colin Morikawa is the 14-1 favourite ahead of Patrick Cantlay at 16-1. Keegan Bradley, last weekend's winner, 18-1 as he continues to play his way into the Ryder Cup team despite being captain. Ben Griffin, serial winner earlier in the season, 20-1. Cameron Young, this could be a good opportunity for him to finally get his first PGA Tour win. He's 25-1. Hideki Matsuyama, talk about proximity from short irons. It feels like he fits the bill there, 28-1. Harry Hall, 33-1. Interesting place for him now in the market. Shows how well he's playing. Siwoo Kim, 33-1. Davis Thompson, 35-1. Wyndham Clark, 35-1. Luke Clanton, 40-1. And Matt Fitzpatrick, also 40-1. So that's the top 12 in the market. How many of those in the squad?
2 from a squad of 4 come from that top end of the market.
Who have we got?
Okay, we'll go straight in. Let's do it. You said this could be a good opportunity for Cam Young. I actually agree. We're on number 39. Cam Young, 30-1. Industry best price, I noticed as well, with priced up. Still a maiden on the PGA Tour. Very well known for it too. I know we've just been discussing the unfortune of Tommy Fleetwood and how things have gone through his career. But Cam Young, he's an 8-time runner-up on the PGA Tour, and you could probably make a stronger case for him about those events. So he was runner-up in the 2022 Open Championship. He was runner-up in the 2024 WGC Match Play. He was the runner-up in this event in 2022. So he has nearly won some very big events, and he hasn't lost any of these due to necessarily playing too poorly, bar perhaps here in 2022 and last year, where he did finish with a poor final round. So he shot over par in his final round here last year, but he's still only lost by 3. But he's been hitting the ball really, really well. His ball strike has been superb, and he actually comes here as well following a really decent effort in the US Open, finishing tied 4th. So things are actually looking really good for Cam Young at the minute. He's not throwing tournaments away. He's possibly just not quite getting over the line. But like I said, he is doing this in some of the biggest events out there, majors, match play events. He's played in this event twice. He was runner-up in 2022. He came back last year and finished tied 6th after shooting over par in his final round, but still only lost by 3. When we've got the players like Patrick Cantlay, Colin Morikawa ahead of him in the market, they don't take my fancy at all at the minute. But I think the time has come for Cam Young to break his PGA Tour maiden. If he loses, it's my own fault for backing him at the same time. But look, can't ignore what he's doing at the moment. The paper credentials tell us he is a winner in waiting.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love Cam Young to get a PGA Tour win, 25-1 to do so this weekend, as he said, of course, and an event where he's gone well in the past. Who's next up?
Next up, you did mention a player that has shot up the odds markets, if you like, and that's Harry Hall. A little bit of a regular for us here on the Punting Green at 30-1. I believe it's 30-1 there with
33-1.
Perfect, even bigger. There we go. Well, I'm a big fan of Harry Hall. He is a PGA Tour winner already. He actually won the ISCO Championship last year. But what I like about him is he hasn't dropped his form ever since he won. He's just continued to improve in all aspects of his game. His putting is probably the most exceptional part of his game. It's no secret that he's got the lowest putting average per round on the PGA Tour this year, and he's second in strokes gained putting, 1 putt average, and then second on putting average total as well. Sorry, a bit of a mouthful there. But he's also become really good at scrambling. And what I like is his consistency to shoot low scores, because you need that this week. We saw last year with my number 1 this week, Cam Young. He let the tournament go by shooting 1 over par. Like I said, still only lost by 3. But in the last 24 rounds for Harry Hall, 19 of those 24 have been in the 60s, which means only 5 rounds have come in the 70s, and 3 of those actually came in one tournament, which is the PGA Championship. And they were pretty good scores because of the difficulty of the tournament. So really, bar those 3, you can say he's only actually been in the 70s, sort of 2 rounds in his last 24. So scoring is just exceptional. There's just so much to like about him this year as well. Finished with a 65 last week, got himself into the big money placings, the Travellers. Big chance this week, and I'm not surprised to see that he is favourite to be the top European in this event.
Yeah, Harry Hall, another one who, I mean, he's quite a long way back now, but a win would obviously really thrust him into Ryder
Yeah.
Cup contention. And he had a remarkable weekend. The weekend just gone by. I think he was in the back of an ambulance at one point on a drip because he was unwell, and he gave an interview afterwards saying,
Oh, wow.
having shot a 65 on Sunday, and he effectively was asked why did he keep playing, and he said, "Well, I think anyone would carry on playing and go to work if they were going to win 250 grand at the end of it."
Yeah, sure. I
And
didn't
obviously,
actually realise that. But
yeah, yeah,
what I did notice is he has done a Sepp Straka and shaved his head bald. Now, when Sepp Straka did that, George, he went and won his next tournament. So perhaps that is the ammunition he needs: a bald head, good putting, good approach play.
there we go. Right, so those are the two from the top. You've
Yes.
got Harry Hall and Cam Young. Who else make up the squad?
Next up, we have world number 88, Ryo Hisatsune, at around 80 to 1, I believe. Already his
75 to 1.
75 to 1, slightly short, but still, that's tremendous value, I think, for this week. Already making his 50th start on the PGA Tour. This is a talent that I've mentioned before, very much going under the radar. He won three Japanese tour events, by the time he turned 18. That's unbelievable because the standard on that tour is seriously high. He then, 2 years later, won his first DP World Tour event. He won the French Open in 2023 at the age of just 20. And now this is just his second season on the PGA Tour. He looks very much at home. He's had 4 top tens this year, 6 last year, 3 of which this year have actually been tied 6th or better, and he has already nearly picked up £4 million in prize money in just a season and a half. No weakness in his game for Ryo Hisatsune. Plays really well at a variety of different courses, which to me is a sign of a really talented player. Being very comfortable on the big stage. 75 to 1 is more than fair. This is a superstar in the making. Do not forget he is 2022, but he plays like a major champion in waiting. So I think Ryo Hisatsune at 75 to 1 is really good value this week, especially, like I said, without Scheffler or McIlroy. Really good chance for someone like Ryo Hisatsune to break their PGA Tour maiden.
Great stuff. 75 to 1, Hisatsune, number 3. And who's the fourth and final?
The final is a Corn Ferry Tour winner, a PGA Tour Canada winner, a very sporadic player. But if you catch him at the right time, Ryan Gerard is a really good price at 55 to 1. Tremendously good ball striker, absolutely rips it, loves to move the ball both ways of his irons as well, which I quite like for this golf course. He's never really been on my radar previously, but he has played well this year. Now, the notable trait I don't like about Ryan Gerard is that from 50 to 100 yards, he hasn't been great. But I've had a look through this golf course. You're either going to be chipping from around the green or you're going to have 100 to 165 yards into some of these greens. And that is actually sort of the best area of his game. So, look, he was second in the Valero Texas Open, which requires very similar traits. He was 8th in the PGA Championship. It was either him or Jake Knapp this week, George, because they're both very similar. The difference is that Ryan Gerard likes to move the ball both ways, so he gets the edge. He's only missed 2 cuts this year. This is the sort of golf course that he should play well at, but he is only a half-point selection because he can be quite sporadic at the same time. But don't make no mistake about it, 55 to 1 is good value for Ryan Gerard.
Ryan Gerard there, fourth and final, 45 to 1. I'm afraid he's been cut this morning, I can see. So you're not the only person backing Ryan Gerard at the moment, but 45 to 1 about Gerard. So Cam Young, 25 to 1, Harry Hall, 33 to 1, Ryo Hisatsune at 75 to 1, and Ryan Gerard at 45 to 1 make up the squads. Anything for us in the other markets that priced up have?
Yeah, I do. I have a few that we can sort of look at. So I looked at the top continental European and the top Nordic player, and Sami Välimäki is in both of those categories. He's 14 to 1 in a field of 14 players for the top continental, or you can get 10 to 1 about him for the 8 players in the top Nordic. So that would possibly suggest we're getting better value by having him as the top Nordic player. This is, again,
10 to 1 top Nordic.
10 to 1, really good price. Very flashy player, scores really well. I could see him certainly outscoring those odds. There's a few players in the Nordic market that aren't necessarily in top form at the moment. Sami Välimäki is a player that can sort of tear up these sort of courses. So I think the 10 to 1's a fair price about him with only 8 players in that market. Effectively, he's taken on 7 players. You can either back him each way at a fifth of the odds, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, fifth of three.
Fifth of the odds. Perfect. Top Swedish player is going to be my next play. My next play here. You got Alex Noren, who played okay last week, Norlander, and then Jesper Svensson at 37-20. So not a massive price, but this would be my banker for the top nationalities this week. A small bunch of players playing from Sweden. I think Jesper Svensson is the best suited to this golf course. When we discussed sort of Alex Noren last week, we mentioned he does well on sort of short golf courses. This is scoreable, but it's still a long course, so I can overlook him, and I don't think Norlander's playing that great. So Sami Välimäki for the top Nordic, Jesper Svensson for the top Swedish. And I'm in two minds at the moment, and I'm going to do it because I've mentioned it now. Keegan Bradley for the top American at 12-1. Now, I was slightly contradicting because I put up Cam Young as my number 1 and Ryan Gerard as my number 4, both obviously American. But I've got a feeling he's going to play really well again this week. This course probably suits him better than does last week. And you could even play him each way. You're getting a quarter of the odds here for 4 places, I believe, because of how many are in the American market. But you're effectively then getting 3-1 about him finishing in the top 4. I'm quite happy with that, and I am going to add it to the selection because I think he could come out as the top American. Look, I think Cam Young's obviously got a massive chance this week, but he does have to overcome a few bits and pieces. If he starts poorly, I'd be more than happy to have a small point on Keegan Bradley at the price you can get available as a little bit of cover, should we say.
Good stuff. Loads in there. Keegan Bradley, top American. We also had Jesper Svensson, top Swedish. Sami Välimäki in the top Nordic. So plenty to get your teeth into. And as I say, the 4 main selections: Cam Young, Harry Hall, Ryo Hetsatsuni, and Ryan Gerard. Thank you very much to Joe as ever for sharing his tips, thoughts, and insight. You can find his stuff over at oddschecker, and we'll be back again next week for another Punting Green. But in the meantime, enjoy the golf, and please ensure you're gambling responsibly, and ensure you check out pricedup.bet and sign up for an account if you haven't already. Follow the link in the show description. Sign up for an account there for all of your betting needs. All good stuff across sports, and plenty of boosts as well over at the Priced Up Boosts page too.